Tackling today's issues that impact Colorado's tomorrow. This is Colorado 2031 with Ron Zappolo.
Hi, and welcome to Colorado 2031. Excited about tonight's show. We'll talk about the future, the job market, and how technology will change opportunities available to all of us and our children. And I'm thrilled to be joined by Futurist Thomas Frey. He's the executive director of the Da Vinci Institute. His blog on emerging technology has been recognized by Popular Science magazine as one of the top 5 science blogs in the known universe. Tom, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You told me before we started, the difference between you and most people is instead of getting up and deciding what to wear that day, you get up and think, what will I be wearing 10 years from now? Is that, in essence, how you view the world?
Yeah, I tend to be wired a little different. Having a mind that's time shifted forward. Not all the time, because when I'm driving somewhere, I have to pay attention to the road. Yeah, but
I'm going to come out here on a limb and say that the future excites you. Am I correct?
It does.
Why?
You know, when I was growing up as a kid, I'd look at the stuff coming out of Bell Labs, the stuff on the covers of Popular Science magazine. The future was fun. I couldn't wait for the future to happen. Now, it seems like if you talk to the average person on the street, there's a lot of
trepidation.
And trepidation. They're worried about it. The famines, wars,
yeah,
all kinds of things to go wrong.
That would worry most people, though, wouldn't it?
Right. But I think, now see, whenever we create a new technology, we're going to have problems with it. Invariably, we have problems with it. And whenever you have problems with the new technology, people form a couple different groups. One of them says we need less technology to solve the problem, and the other one says we need more technology to solve the problem.
What group are you in?
I think more technology always wins.
Always wins.
It always wins because there's a certain segment of society that are the habitual problem solvers. These are the people that are going to always have to figure out ways to improve things constantly.
When you look at the future, is technology what excites you the most? Because it's so unlimited, there's no ceiling?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think there's huge opportunities in technology, but there's systems are a thing that I think has huge opportunities too, because we tend to ignore the systems that we have. If you think about, we have a lot of global systems in place. We have global transportation systems.
Right.
We can global mail systems. We can mail stuff. We have time zones, which is a global system. With all the stuff we're doing on the internet, we're actually creating new global systems, global marketplaces. We're creating global search technologies. We're creating global social networking opportunities. So these are new global systems, and how those cross country lines and how those affect people in other parts of the world, these new global systems, I think, are pretty exciting.
Do you think in the future, you just mentioned the other parts of the world, because of this technology, will we be more connected now to people all over the world than we are, say, today?
Right, we will, yeah.
There's no doubt.
Not in my mind.
Yeah. You were called, I think by the Boulder Daily Camera, the father of invention. Is invention the root of all of this, that there has to be somebody somewhere who is sitting in a basement somewhere saying, you know, like Al Gore, I invented the internet, but somewhere there's somebody thinking about a new technology.
Light bulbs are turning on at a faster rate than ever right now. It's because we're creating new platforms for these new innovations to happen.
Are there more of those people around, though? Are there still enough curious, inquisitive people that want to change the world?
Part of it, I think, is that we're not brainwashed to think that things can't happen anymore. I know when I was a kid growing up, there's people saying, that's never going to happen.
Right.
We don't hear that hardly anymore.
No, we don't. The sky is kind of the limit now, isn't it?
Right.
I want to take a break, but I want to talk to you about education and how you think we will educate our children differently in the decades to come. We'll take a break. We'll come right back, and we'll continue. Don't go away. We're back, continuing our discussion with Thomas Frey, a futurist from the Da Vinci Institute in Louisville, one of the leading futurists in America. We left talking about education. Now, the way we do it, people are in a classroom, there is a professor, we learn. In the decades to come, will that be completely foreign to what we think of when we think of education?
I think so. I think so. Well, one of the problems is our education system today is very teacher-centric. It needs to shift to a more learning-centric. Education is not about teaching, it's about learning.
So moving the teacher out of the...
Yeah, the teachers become somewhat of a choke point because they need to be an expert on a topic before they can teach it. Now, there are several topics that we only have, a handful of people in the world that understand these extreme edges
Sure.
of science. And so for us to reduce that to the experts train the trainers train the teachers put it into a curriculum and teach it to the students. It's a 5-year process.
So teaching may not, when we talk about jobs of the future, teachers may be one of those jobs that, according to that, could at some point become obsolete.
They're going to transition, the way I see it. I look at education as becoming more of like the iTunes model.
Right.
The idea of having courses that are created all over the world, sent to a central distribution center, and then sent out again.
So if you have a computer or if you have a way to communicate, you can take a course from anywhere in the world.
Right. Right. Now, there's lots of aspects to it. So it's not computer-based education per se, but it's all recorded on the computer. And so the idea that we have, the piece that's missing is we haven't created a rapid courseware builder. We haven't created a templated process that makes it easy for people to create courses. That's the missing component.
That's going to take time.
I think it'll happen in less than 2 years.
Oh, you do?
I think somebody will develop that architecture.
Going back to invention here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll happen within the next 2 years, and it'll take off like a rocket.
You've written a lot about libraries.
Right.
What do you see as the future of libraries?
I think libraries transition from a passive environment that they are right now to a much more active environment, so that people don't go there to consume things, they go there to produce things. People are no longer... They no longer want information to flow one way. They want to participate in it. They want to take ownership of it. They want to have their say in this information. So if you think of, in terms of a library, if you put in a podcast studio in a library, you go
Right.
there to create information. If you put in a blogging station, you go there to create information. If you put in some video podcast station, vidcast station, you could go there in that studio, then you create stuff that the whole world will find out about.
When people hear you speak, are they open to all of these ideas? Because you said earlier, last section, like in the old days, maybe not so far long gone, people would say that will never happen. Do they come to hear you now and say anything that you tell them, they go, well, sure, I think that could happen?
Not everybody. Not everybody.
There are some doubters that...
Yeah, some people, you talk about the future, their eyes tend to glaze over because they're so concerned about what's happening next week. They got to make their numbers this quarter.
They're on deadline, whatever it is.
Yeah, but every CEO in a company has the responsibility of creating and maintaining the vision for that company. And that's a big responsibility.
Will the world be a better place to live 50 years from now?
I hope so. I mean, it's no...
Have you thought about it?
No guarantees. I mean, there's lots of things that can go wrong.
That's why I ask, because,